Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Diary of a Blind Coach, episode 3. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about how I said hello to the darkness, okay? But before I get into that, as always, I want to give a big thank you to all of you that continue to watch my content, right? I really, really appreciate it. And it's awesome how the channel is growing slowly but surely. And I also want to ask a massive favor. Please hit that subscribe button, that follow button. It's the only way this channel will grow and be able to touch more people. And if you like what I'm talking about by the end of the video, please hit that thumbs up button. And of course, don't forget to share this content, all right? But let's get into it. And I will try not to get emotional, promise, all right? So as you know already, I'm not wearing my glasses, my Superman glasses. I want to be as authentic and as vulnerable as I can. I really, really hope I'm looking at the camera. All right, okay. So when we left off from episode 2, I left it off where I just lost my sight. I had just woken up and my sight had completely gone. All right, and that was scary. That was really, really scary. But I headed over to the hospital. The doctor told me it would be a 50-50, and that just broke me. It really, really did, because my entire life was me running away from this darkness, okay? And as already said, even in the last episode, when I lost my sight in 2013, sorry, in my right eye, I thought, here we go, and the darkness is catching up. And for me, to be perfectly honest with you, the darkness was always this big bad boogeyman, like the boogeyman that you see under your bed. Okay, I just didn't want to go blind. I said anything else but going blind. Okay, and it was really, really scary for me, and that was my greatest fear. And I'll be honest with you, it was my absolute greatest fear. So here I am sitting in the doctor's room, and he's there telling me this is a 50-50. That just broke me. I remember my sister cried. My sister cried, I cried. And it was really, really emotional. My mom cried, and there was just a lot of tears going around. And because I was in such hysterics, the doctor told me, go back, pray about everything, and come back. Okay, so I went, had a prayer, and came back. Unfortunately, things were not in my favor, and the darkness caught up to me. And this is what I didn't want. This is what I didn't want. And here we go. The darkness had finally got me. And I remember the night it all changed. I really remember this because I was lying down in bed just out of my surgery, and all I could feel was water leaking out of my eye, and I knew something was wrong. From that moment, I knew something had really, really gone wrong, And when I got to the hospital, usually when you get to the hospital and they remove the bandage off your eye, you should be able to see a light, ideally. But for me, I knew the bandage came off, but it was just dark. And I won't lie, that was hard. That was really, really hard, because you now think the man that I used to be is gone, To be honest, you coin it, it kind of felt like I died that day. It felt like the old Sydney died that day. And I felt like, it was the most euphoric feeling, where you're out of body experience, where you're out of your body and you're literally looking at yourself and you're thinking, is this real? This has really happened, So there I was now, blind, and you're now thinking, what do I do? And you're thinking, okay, this is not so bad, because you think your friends that you had before all of this happened will be there to support you, and the truth of the matter is they don't, And it was kind of an awakening, kind of think, when somebody dies, somebody passes away, the truth of the matter is we're going to go to a funeral, and eventually we'll start to move on, because that's what life is. Life just has to keep going. Now you can imagine that happening when you feel already like you just experienced your own funeral, and everybody moves on with life. You're not that guy where we can kind of take you along and go have a hang out or play ball or do anything. You know what I mean? So everybody starts to move on as people do, and that was hard. And it was not just hard on me, it was hard on everybody, right? I'll tell you a quick story. So after I lost my sight, we headed over to South Africa. Nobody knows this, but you do now. I headed over to South Africa, and they were mean. They were really, really mean. They just told me, hey, it's going to cost you 100,000 Zambian kwaches, okay? And we didn't have the money, but we said we're going to do it. Fine, we'll find the money. Let's do this operation, let me see again. And from 100, they changed it, and they changed up the figure again. I said it's going to cost 130. So he said, just do it. The money doesn't matter. Let me see again. And eventually they just had to come clean. I said, look here, we don't see the point in doing this surgery, because there's nothing that's going to happen and we're not going to take the risk. So keep your money. I remember that night my mom cried, stayed up crying, and that was painful. It was really, really painful because you're kind of sitting thinking, now I'm supposed to be the man of the family, you're supposed to be the strong one, the firstborn, and it was emotional. I heard my dad crying for the first time as well. So yeah, so that was sad, and you get back and you kind of think, I need to pick myself back up. I need to get up. And when we got back from South Africa and I realized this is real now, I said, okay, look, Sydney, this is what's gonna be. You can make a decision now. You can look into that closet where the darkness has been all of this time and face your fears, or you can sit about and cry. You know what I mean? So I chose the first option, and I chose to face my fears and be brave in here. I always tell my daughter to be brave in here, right? So I chose to look into the closet and face my fears. And I opened that closet and looked the darkness straight into his face and said, look, you're not gonna kill me. You're not gonna kill me. At the end of the day, I'm strong, and I wanted to be strong, And I told myself, I'm gonna do this not just for my family, not just for my mom and dad, but for my daughter, because my daughter needs a dad, and I think everybody does, or a parent. And at the end of the day, my family needs me, and I have to do this for myself. I've never been a weak person. And I told myself, you're not going to be weak. You're not going to be weak. You're going to face everything. And it really, really has been hard. It's been really, really hard, right? It's been hard. But I tell you what, we got through it. Sorry, I'm not getting choked up. I got through it. And here I am today, smiling. And I told myself to say, look, you can choose two things. You can choose to live in this world, okay, and be a part of this world, or you can choose the world to live inside your head. And I chose to live in this world. I do not allow the world to live in my head, because trust me, a lot of people will say a lot of mean things behind your back and think, oh, there's that blind guy, or did you, and even just the word blind became such a crutch for me. It was like, oh man, this is real. It's really, really real. But at the end of the day, last point is I want to tell everybody, if you let something that is a crutch become something that defines you, that's what everybody will always see you as. So if I cry about things and say, oh, I'm blind, and that's the very main thing I lead with, they're always going to know me as Sydney the blind guy. So I make it an absolute point that you're going to know me for Sydney. You're going to know I'm a great coach. You're going to know I'm a great dad. You're going to know I'm a great businessman with great business acumen. But the very last thing you'll be saying is, oh, and by the way, he's blind. That's the very last thing. So I present myself the way I should be. I do not allow myself to look like my problems, nor do I allow myself to my problems get the best of me. And I'll never allow the world to live in my head rent-free. Okay, I'm going to live in this world and participate in this world until my dying breath. Okay, so for everybody out there, it's not just doesn't matter if you're blind. At the end of the day, this world judges you for everything. You can be short, dark skinned, big boned or fat, you know what I mean? Have a disability. At the end of the day, everybody's always going to judge you, right? So you got to choose to say, are you going to let all of that affect you, or are you going to make sure that what people see is the very last thing they know about you? And that's what I do. The very last thing you ever know about me is, oh, it's by the way that I'm blind. So I want to encourage you to also be like that as well. Make sure whatever you think your crutch is, you may feel you're not attractive, you may feel you're just not how society kind of says we should be, right? Make sure that's the last thing somebody knows about you. All right. And I want to leave you with this quote, when you open your mouth, make sure somebody listens and remembers who you are. So I hope this has touched somebody out there. This is the third episode. I did say hello to the darkness and I faced my fears. And you know what? When I looked on the curtain on the other side, the darkness wasn't what I thought it was. All right. It was like you look and think, this is it. Of course it's hard. It's really, really hard. But at the end of the day, as we keep going through these diary sessions, I'm going to slowly start unpacking and let you know, yes, things are hard, but at the end of the day, every day was a challenge, but I faced my fears and I continue to conquer those challenges. All right. So I'm going to go. I'm going to let you be. Please look forward to episode 4. This was a little bit emotional, but I kept it together. And I'm going to see you in the next episode. But hey, please don't forget to support my organization, See the World Foundation. Any donation helps. And at the end of the day, hey, I don't have a job. So just in case you want to buy a coach a coffee or something, donate something to me. You know what I mean? And as you do, please tag my name, Coach Sydney, so we know it's directed to me. Other than that, the account is See the World Foundation. The number is in the description. Mobile money works, and I will see you in the next video. Salute.